Hello guys, welcome to Stargate Family Channel. Greetings to you all, depends of where you are watching me from. So guys, let me show you this video that I come across in YouTube. You know, I always love to share Ghana news, so it's giving me joy, because our president is really trying. So watch the video guys. Please do not forget to share, subscribe, press the notification bell so that anytime I have a important video, you'll be the first to notify. Thank you all and happy Christmas in advance, happy New Year in advance. Thank you all. I love you. Bye bye.
Mean to you as an African of the Year in a time where not only Ghana but the world is facing unprecedented challenges?
Well, first of all, I'm overwhelmed. I have to thank you very much for recognizing the work that we're doing here in Ghana to be able to get this award. It's the name of your magazine it's a global brand. Everybody knows about it, and for its African version to pick on me it's a big honor for me. I'm very grateful for it. What does it mean? I understand it more than anything else to mean that the world is looking at the work we're doing here in Ghana. It's an inspiration for us and an encouragement for us to continue down the path that we've set ourselves.
Ghana is now the trade capital of Africa under the AFCFTA. How would you want to take advantage of this?
I think the question itself in some ways gives the answer. This project, building a common market in Africa, has been on the table for a very long time, been talked about over and over again. But suddenly, the political will to bring it into being has been found on the continent. And that is a very important first step. But look at what it involves. It means we're now talking about the possibility. The rules are still being made as we are going along, but the trading has begun. We began trading on the 1st of January within the market. Considerable amount of the rules and regulations that need to be put in place to make it function equitably for all the nations of the continent are now in place. And the implications are enormous. Suddenly, traders, producers, manufacturers, exporters have a market of 1.2 billion people as their target. The projections are that that market is going to grow to a market of 2.5 billion people in 30 years' time, by 2050. So we're talking about a major trading bloc if it functions effectively. And those who have the opportunity to exploit the possibilities of this market are obviously going to reap big dividends. So what we've been trying to do here in Ghana, apart from struggling to have the Secretariat here with its obvious implications, is also to prepare our business community, our country, its institutions, as well as our business community, to be able to maximize the opportunities that this focus gives us. I think that there are tremendous opportunities in strengthening our manufacturing sector, improving the productivity of our agriculture, taking great advantage of the digital revolution, which the fourth industrial revolution that all of us are talking about, and which is now an important driving force in making of policy in Ghana and in implementation of policy. So yes, it presents an enormous opportunity for us. 16% of the collective GDP of the 54 states in Africa is derived from intra-African trade, is the lowest of any regional trading group in the world. You compare it to the European Union, for instance, 27 nations, 75% of their collective GDP is generated from intra-European trading. You take the bloc in Asia, ASEAN, which groups, I think, no more than 6 or 7 nations. 56-7% of the trading, internal trading of this community accounts for the collective GDP. So there is all the advantages, obvious advantages there are in being able to trade with yourselves. Unfortunately, partly as a result of colonial our colonial inheritance, and secondly, absence of policy. We have not been focusing on trading amongst ourselves. The focus has been on looking outside the continent for trade, investment, etc. But the market now exists for us to be able to be, if you like, a little bit more, much more inward looking, and insisting that our first priority is how to expand trade with our neighbors, how to expand trade within the continent. And we see that as a very much more secure route to bringing prosperity to the continent. So it's a major step forward. Well, and I'm particularly happy that Ghana has been honored by her peers to be responsible for the Secretariat. It's here. We have a very dynamic young man, this young South African, Wamkele Mene, who's the Secretary General, who's come to live here. And they're doing a very good job in making sure that the AFCFTA comes into full operation as soon as possible. Fortunately, as I said at the beginning, the political leaders on the continent see its value and are taking the decisions that will enable the market to function effectively. So that's where we are. But I'm very happy about Ghana's association with the trade project, and the way you described it as the trade capital of Africa. That in itself is saying a lot for us.
It's that looking inward principle is something that you carry globally. You made a very powerful speech with the French President Macron, where I quote, you said, "We can no longer continue to make policy for ourselves in our continent on the basis of whatever support that the Western world can give us. It will not work, it has not worked, and it will not work." Now that speech went viral. Why did you take that stance at that time?
The timing, I'm not quite sure that the timing has much to do with it, much more with the conviction and the analysis that we made. We've seen ourselves, the post-colonial era, the era of independence, becoming increasingly dependent on foreign donors to support our budget, to support the development of our infrastructure. And it has become something like the central theme in economic management on the continent. It hasn't done a great deal for us in terms of transforming the life of our people and bringing prosperity to the broad masses of the Africa. It hasn't done. And I think the evidence is there for all of us to see. You don't have to, to be that profound an analyst to see it for yourself. So that, what does it do? It calls for a new paradigm. It calls for a new analysis. That's how we're going to be able to get out of where we are and move forward. And I think that the first thing, because it's the first part of any development, is the intellectual, the mindset, the vision that you have, and then how you work that vision. The first thing is for there to be a broad consensus that really that path of depending on French taxpayers or British taxpayers, American taxpayers or Japanese taxpayers are generous enough to give us will not resolve our problems. That's the first thing. And then secondly, they say that 30% of the world's remaining minerals are on our soil. These percentages for the amounts of arable lands, how much water, all of these basic pillars of economic development and growth are found here. They're here in abundance. And if that is the case, shouldn't that be our focus? How can we strengthen our capacity to exploit these directly ourselves as a way of addressing the issues of poverty, backwardness that we have, health systems that are not up to it, infrastructures that are not up to it. And I think that if you put those two things together, the experience we've had, the potential that we ourselves are sitting on, for me, it justifies the statement I made. Whether it was politic at the time, whether it was the right time to make. The fact that it went viral, as you say, I think indicates that perhaps it was a statement that people have been waiting for a long time. And it was encouraging to hear it being said by a new generation of African leaders. But it's a very central feature of how I have been trying to carry out my obligations as president of Ghana. To what extent we can mobilize our own human, material, and resources to address the issue of development. We are not talking about Ghana turning its back on the world. And I'm calling for Africa to isolate itself from global trade, the global division of labor, far from it. The statement is clear. They say no man is an island untied of itself. It's as true of nations. We are all interlinked and interlocked. But I think the emphasis, the change of focus, the way in which you look at problems, if you accept the validity of the statement that I made to the French president, it changes a lot of things, and especially the dynamic of how we're going about our development. I think it's a very important step for us. We, in fact, have coined a phrase out of it. We're talking about Ghana beyond aid as the central feature of Ghanaian policy, public policy, not just in the management of our economy, but generally in the way in which Ghana is positioning itself in the world today. And we will continue down that road because we think that it provides us a much more secure route to prosperity and growth and development and transformation than what we had previously.
Indeed. After consecutive years of economic gains that made Ghana one of the fastest growing economies in the world, COVID hit the world and Africa, and you were very fast to respond with a lot of measures to alleviate the effects of the pandemic on the people and the Ghanaian economy. Could you underline those highlights within the Ghana Cares program and what is now needed to bring Ghana back to its full economic potential as the Black Star of Africa?
Well, first of all, the need for rapid action. I was in fact in Switzerland on an official visit there, and we woke up in the morning, turned on the television to hear the news. And that was the first time that there was this worldwide alarm about what had happened in China, Wuhan. And it struck me immediately when I heard it that we would have to act extremely quickly if this thing wasn't going to be what it turned out to be, a pandemic that could have really devastating impact. Already at the time, we heard statements were being made by some, I think the woman, Melinda Gates, went on record as saying that we will be dying millions of people in the streets of Africa, because of two things. One, there's a lot of contact between China and Ghana. We have a significant population of people who are there, and then we have a lot of our trading community where China is the first source of goods and services. So the intercourse, people going in and out of China with Ghana, very highly developed. Clearly, if that was the source of the problems, it is something that could impact us in a very, very negative way, in a very serious